Okay. Recording has started. All right, I need to get my questions up because I don't have those, obviously, because, you know, here we are. Who wants the intro?
I'll intro.
Oh, go you. Still struggling with lighting.
I'll just let you lot know that I don't have headphones in today. So you're
Okay.
going to everybody.
Hear everything. Right, set up, done. Cameras rolling. Let's roll. So, hi everyone. Welcome to the second in the series of our Level Up series.
Third, bitch.
Is it the third?
Yeah.
It's the third, isn't it?
Member education, networking, credit score.
The third in the series. Take it back. Third in the series of our Level Up series that we're doing. And today. Oh, look at her go! Look at her go!
That late ass.
And today we are going to be talking all things credit score. So I won't linger on what that is because we'll probably go into a lot of the discussion on the actual podcast. But Charlene is in the hot seat today, yaga y'all. You ready, Charlene?
Yeah, ready as I'll ever be.
Okay. So, Charlene, do you know what a credit score is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Charlene, you're supposed to be our pro about yeah.
Yeah.
We'll delve. Do you know why it matters?
Yeah.
Do you know how to improve a credit score?
Yeah.
Does social media posting have an impact on your ability to access credit from banks?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay. Do payday loans impact credit scores?
Yeah, they've got to.
That's all from me, folks.
Do you think having a credit card is a bad thing?
No.
When growing up, did you think your credit score was important?
No.
Did anyone teach you about the importance of your credit score?
No.
Do you think that they should teach this in schools?
150%.
Okay, and that's it for the
questioning.
questions.
Okay, Shah, so we said, do you know what a credit score is? And you said, yeah.
Because by definition, if you're looking for like dictionary proof shit, like, I don't know.
Okay, so that's fine. So what do you think it is by non-dictionary definition?
A score based on your lendability from various. Okay, it's a database. No, I don't know.
You could have made that sound good. You could have even, like, you were getting there. And when I heard the word lendability, I was like, go on, Charlene, lendability. You know me, always trying to add.
It's a score based on your lendability from credit advisors or credit companies. See if you're trustworthy of actually having money. Okay.
Thank you, Charlene. I mean, you know, I was going to say I can't agree more. I could agree less, but I know you know what you mean. So, like, looking at credit scores.
What's the definition?
I mean, I'm not going to be bringing a dictionary definition. Did you want me to?
I mean, I thought like a while ago.
Let me do that.
Because of you that we needed a dictionary up in this bitch. Because you want words.
So how dare I not bring one with me?
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
So let me just tell you right now, just for the fact of proper.
But I give you what I think it is. Yeah. I give you what I think it is, and then we'll go to the definition dictionary. So I agree on the lendability thing, but I also think it tells you about your, well, it's kind of the same thing, credit worthiness. Can we use that term? Yes, and your...
You already looked at the dictionary.
I didn't, honestly. My nose up in this bitch. The credit worthiness and your history of lending. History of lending and basically your payment history and how credit worthy you are.
Okay, so why waste my time going on Google when he just spilled off what it was? Yeah, it literally says a credit score is a number ranging from 300 to 850 that depicts a consumer's credit worthiness. And it's got a little bit more detail, but I don't want to go into it too much because I want to talk about some of the things in the podcast. So, well done, Aisha. And well done you too, Shah, because it was about lendability too, and it is your credit worthiness. So, Why does it matter? Charlene's like, I really thought Charlene was the pro in this one. Wasn't she supposed to be the one that was the...
Like, I understand why it matters. It matters because are you trustworthy in like having a mortgage or having a credit card, being able to pay your bills on time? Are you worthy of the bank giving you money, kind of thing?
And let's face facts, you can't pay cash for everything. So when it comes to having, even though they try, you can't pay cash with everything, which means that you have to have an open line of credit to be accepted for things like mobile phones, credit cards, and other things that you won't be able to access just by paying cash in hand. And you have to kind of be liable and reliable to know that you're going to actually pay those things back. So what it is people wanting to know that they can trust you, like you said, to be in a long-term, it's in a contractual situation where you're actually going to be liable for repayments. So when I was asking you if it matters, was that a yay or a nay?
Yeah, it matters, but it depends what you want it for, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're saying, there's a lot of things that do rely on your credit score, but some more importantly than others.
Yeah.
Like as far as a mobile phone contract compared to a mortgage. It depends kind of what you want of it. You might be able to miss a few payments and still get a mobile phone contract. But you might miss a few payments and that'll go against you for the next 5 years, 10 years if you wanted to get a mortgage. So it depends. I suppose it's, what's the word? What you want.
Yeah. And do you know, like, when I was looking into this, I don't know if you guys did, because I've always known about credit.
Yes, we did. We did look into it, you feisty bitch.
Dictionary out, so I don't know, I was just checking. But when I was looking into it, I knew in the back of my mind, you know, we asked you the question and you was like, yeah, because I feel like that's how I felt. It was like, I do know, but I don't know because I've never had to explain it.
Yeah.
I was started looking into it. Like, I guess in my mind, I had created an image of these credit score people. So like a body or an organization of people that use your history to credit score you. But, you know, it's actually like various different bodies. Yeah. So it's not one. So you've got like Experian. You've got, what's the other one called? Yeah. So all of them do it slightly different. So you might have a higher credit score with one than the other.
Yeah, your experience score is on a totally different, even scale rating to what your clear score is.
Yeah, and that's crazy because you would have assumed that it was just one body giving you one answer, which means that you could be accepted for some things and not for other things.
Yeah, there's it's happened in the past where like a lot of people only really know about Experian because they are probably the bigger player. Mm-hmm. But there have been instances where, like, when I was younger, I've gone for credit and stuff, and my credit score on Experian looked good, but then I was turned down for it because on Equinix, which is another provider, they rated me differently. Yeah. So unless you look at every different provider, you can't really get a true picture of what a lender will see because different lenders use different credit reference agencies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's a really good point, Tate, for people to actually understand from each individual credit agency, reference agency.
Did you sign up for school, Aisha?
Yeah, I've got every single one of them now.
I'm keeping tabs.
Trust me, keeping tabs. But it's so easy to not keep a track of. And something that didn't occur to me until recently was the fact that you need to not only think about your own credit score, but also think about if you've got a partner or something, you're going to want to buy a house with them someday, or even the fact of living in the same property with them and you're both on a gas bill, for example, and they've got a bad credit score, you're both registered the same property, they can bring your score down and they can affect what you can get in terms of credit and your mortgage going forward.
Yeah.
So it's not even your own shit you need to be looking at. It's also your partners, making sure they're in check as well.
And that's why you need to check their phone. It was checking their credit score.
This is it, man. This is why you need their login.
Score. What do you mean? Babe, I was looking at your Experian. I wasn't even going through your messages.
I was checking credit score. Oh, you thought I was going for your DMs. You're so stupid. I was DMing the bank to see why it was negative against your name. But yeah, like you said as well, like it really depends what you want, because Aisha, I imagine with you, like if someone denied you, like you must have been looking for a big boy lump of change. But I don't think it would have been a mobile phone or like, you know, a sofa on finance or something like that. So yeah, like you said, it does matter what you're looking into. And the reason why it is good to have a good credit line is because, you know, you might need to do something extravagant or something major, something other than just your daily do's and daily D's, which entails you like progressing on in life. So we've spoken about in this Level Up series about education, we've spoken about networking, we're now talking about credit score. And if you're not trustworthy as an individual or as a partnership, because like you rightly mentioned, your partner has to have good credit as well, then who even are you in society? It's like you're not it's literally like you're not recognized. If you don't have a credit score, you're not recognized.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Tay, because something else that recently, kind of in the last few years, that occurred to me is if you're not on the electoral roll, that has a really detrimental effect on your credit score.
Yeah.
So you could be...
Simple as well.
Say that again, Shah?
Something so simple to sign up for, to be on the electoral register.
Yeah.
And you actually have to vote. If you really don't want to vote, you don't have to vote. But to be on the register, it just takes up your credit score dramatically. Which is the reason why, is because it's proof of your address as well.
Yeah.
You can say that you've lived in the house that you've lived in for up to, was it 5 years or whatever, which is a good way of doing your previous addresses as well.
And it shows that you're settled and stable, so you're not running off anywhere, which is probably why they use your address and how long you've been at that address.
Definitely.
You know, I asked you if social media posting has an impact.
Yeah, I was like, does it? I don't think so.
You know, once you're asked the question, you're like, oh my gosh, it must be.
I'm like, well, obviously you asked me the question because it does.
No, I plucked it out of thin air. No, I didn't. Apparently, it can have an impact, and I'll just read a passage from this book that I've got, and then I'll speak about the book a bit as well. So it says, be careful on Facebook. It says that there have been stories that banks take what you post on social media into account. It's hard to prove, but someone has been known reviewing a mortgage. They were told that they would suggest looking at someone's Facebook for some reason, and there were gambling stories and stuff like that on there. So that kind of showed their character in regards to being liable with money. And yeah, apparently that had an impact. So it's like, it can't be proved, but apparently that's what was on the person's story, and the person was disapproved.
Sneaky selling size.
Yeah. So it's quite interesting to think that it might not necessarily, it's not like you just posting a cute picture and then them saying, no, I'm not going to give her credit, but it might be relatable to finances. And if their perception is, okay, this person's not responsible with money, then it might have an impact.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and we already know, like, the amount of information that we share online, and, you know, people have got all types of...
I know. You're denying your 10 kids, saying you don't pay no child support, and meanwhile you got 10 kids and you're posting every single one of them on your Facebook. Facebook will be like, no, you've got kids to look after.
That today. So yeah, it has an impact.
That's crazy. What book is that, Tay?
Take time. So okay, cool. So this book is actually, it's so cool. Look at that. It's like a credit card or a Monzo, if you will. So it's called Money. And it's a user's guide by Laura Waitley. But it's really good because it's got different things in it, like not just credit score, but it's got things like mortgages, credit cards, everything to do with finances, and things that you probably could have benefited from knowing before you got into financial responsibility. So like maybe when we were a bit younger, in order to make sure that you were going the right way when it comes to finances. So everything to do with saving, bills, rent, all that kind of stuff. Even the electoral roll, it does have the electoral roll in there as well.
I find it terrible that they don't teach stuff like this in schools. Like they should
it just doesn't make sense.
Loans, interest rates, credit score, mortgages, credit cards, and the positives out of them. Because you just think credit cards, like I think Aisha, you asked, the credit card's a good thing. Like, how can you not know that it will build up your credit rating if you've used it correctly?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think people know about credit enough to then justify why they would need a credit card.
Yeah.
So that is the starting point. You're trying to build your credit. You're trying to appear as responsible and credit worthy to people that you might want to borrow money off of. And the point is, you do that by being good. You do that by building a credit line. So whether it's a mobile phone, whether it's a credit card, you make small payments towards these things and you keep on top of them, because that just shows how responsible you are. So it's not necessarily about getting a £3,000 credit card if you're even able to access one that's £3,000 or more. But it's about, like, you know, go and get, if you don't have one, go and get a £100 credit card and make regular payments towards that so you can show your trustworthiness. And then that will help you get more.
Negative effects of it would be if you got a £100 credit card, used £100 of it, and then paid the £100 in full. So paying the full amount on your credit card is going to reduce your credit rating.
Yeah, they don't like that either. And that's I'm glad you pointed that out, because that's something that people would think, but I paid it. Yeah. But that's not what they want. They want you to pay it off. And again, it's about your stability. Do you have that every month, or do you only have that right now?
Yeah, it's like you had a lump sum. I was teaching somebody a business owner who's had their business for over 10 years, got a credit card recently, paid it all off, and was surprised that the credit rating was reduced dramatically. And I'm like, you can't do it like that. You've got to do it like, in gradual amounts. Even if you have the money, just put the money in a bank account and set up a direct debit to pay the minimum amount plus a little bit extra every month, rather than actually just paying it all off in full. If you've got the money, just put it aside.
That is a great idea. That because I think that's people's problem. They're like, I've got the money now, and they can't trust themselves to just allocate it to that one thing. But you need to do what you said and put it in the account and just make the payments monthly. That is a really good suggestion.
Remember not to be scared of debt as well. Like you said, getting the credit card and getting small pieces of debt, because the most successful companies or businesses and people know how to leverage debt really well.
Yeah.
To use debt to their advantage to free up the cash for other stuff, but then manage their debt and pay it off. You know, a company with no debt is never considered a good thing, because they're not actually using what's available to them properly. So, like you said, having a bit of debt, building up your credit rating, paying it off consistently is always going to be a good thing.
Yeah, and also don't use all of your credit. So don't not use any of your credit, but don't use all of your credit, because they want to know that even though your credit's available to you, you haven't maxed it out.
Yeah.
Again, trustworthiness. It's like actually being in a relationship. It's like they want to know you're in it for the long run.
Yeah.
Are you treating me good this month, next month, and the month after, or you just treating me good on Valentine's Day?
Oh, yes.
Break up with your credit score.
Great analogy. I'm like...
And in this book, it actually says break up with your ex. So it's literally justifying the fact that if you're not together anymore, ensuring that you don't have any open lines of credit together, you're not still paying bills together. You know, like sometimes you think it's okay, oh, we've still got that, but, you know, we're not together anymore. No, fuck him right off, or fuck her right off, because you have to be an independent credit body at that point. You don't want to be associated to anything that person's still doing, like we've already said.
Very true.
Shit, then.
Bye.
What else did you ask me in terms of credit cards? You asked me.
Oh, no, I did payday loan.
Yeah.
Payday
loans is a good one though, Tay, because a lot of people use that because they're desperate, especially at the moment with everything that's going on.
Yeah.
With COVID in the last few months. People might be tempted to get the payday loans in order to see themselves right for a bit.
Yeah.
Does it affect your credit score? Does it
massively. This one's massive because in this book it says for some banks payday loans are also an absolute credit score killer. So it's not just I'll build it back up in a couple of months. It's kind of like full stop. So it says some banks will not lend to you at all if you've taken out a payday loan. Others are less fast, but it's best not to go anywhere near payday loans at least for a year before applying for a mortgage if you can. A year. That 1 day loan will impact you for a year.
That's crazy.
That's easy.
But
and also you've got to remember the interest on those payday loans are astronomical as well. They're crazy, like 500% and crazy figures like that, where it actually doesn't it puts you in a much worse position going forward by taking that payday loan.
Yeah.
And wouldn't you say that payday loans are more so for people that can't get their avenues of lending in another way? Like they usually can't get a credit card or can't get a loan from the bank and kind of look at that as a final resort or a
Yeah.
bubble.
And that would seem like a bit of a rock and a hard place situation, because if you
Yeah.
can't get it, then how are you going to be able to then justify the payday loan, which won't give you the credit again? So it's a little bit crappy, which I guess means pulling on your resources. And if you can find the finances from like friends, family, or there's loads of like credit building credit cards. So again, they're slightly higher in regards to interest, but they give you the opportunity to actually open that line of credit.
Mm-hmm.
So do some research, definitely on what's that website called? Money
Supermarket. Yeah.
Is it Martin's money saving expert?
Yeah.
That one, because he's got loads of good tips.
Yeah.
And you can do loads of soft checks.
Yeah, quite a lot of things that don't actually check your credit rating, but can give you advice on the best credit cards and stuff like that. And even if you download ClearScore, they give you what's like, it's kind of like training, so you can put in whatever you want if you're looking for a credit card, like a 0% credit card or whatnot, and it will give you a list of options, and it gives you your eligibility rate based on your credit score already, whether you would be accepted for it or not.
That's really good.
And do you know that the APR rates aren't always what you get?
Darlene, break that down, because I remember when you told me this before.
So if there's a credit card and it says, right, so the APR on this credit card is 20%, so only 50% of the people that apply for that credit card will get the APR that's advertised.
That's crazy.
So you can apply for it, you might go all the way through to the application and then get the credit card and you're on the 40%.
That's mad.
That's fucked up, yeah, that's really fucked up. I don't know how...
The loopholes, doesn't it? That shows all the loopholes of advertising and stuff, because you would never expect that. You would just think, oh, it's 20%, that's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
That's brighter.
Proper. Another thing to watch out for as well, a lot of the time it says a variable rate. So if, I know at the moment, like interest rates are really low, but if, for example, we bounce back as a country and interest rates go up, the bank can actually put your interest rate up if you're on a variable rate. So you've got to bear that in mind as well. So you think that you're paying one interest amount and can afford that, but then actually it skyrockets because the interest rates globally, or not globally, in the country have gone up.
And that can change monthly, right? So like, it's not, you've got no set rate for 1 month.
Yeah, that's probably correct. It can change at any time.
Yeah. Gosh, which always means you have to always be ahead of yourself.
But don't not get a credit card based on this. Always get a credit card. You want to tell people to always get a credit card, even if you spend the minimum on it. Like, just get a credit card. I always tell people, get a credit card, pay just your petrol on it, and then pay off that like monthly. Pay your minimum rate plus a little bit extra, and just pay for one thing on the credit card, just to show that you're using it, you're paying it off gradually, not all in one go, and you're, what's the word that I use?
Your lendability.
Lendability is valid.
Yeah, we trust you more than, not we trust you, they trust you more than you trust your man.
What is your issue?
Think back to the phone scenario. Just think back to the phone scenario.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah. So that's a good thing. So get credit, build credit, have credit, be trustworthy.
Do you think the end goal always is to get a mortgage, or?
No, not necessarily. It could be. It could be a car. It could be a sofa for a rented house. It could be anything.
And
Obviously,
it's good. The things that we've said that you need credit for are things like the minimum to be a phone bill, a phone contract, your gas, your electric, a sofa in your house, even a water rate, like anything that you get, your new bed, your new car, your house.
Car insurance.
Insurance. Yeah. Don't. Mine's actually due right now. and all of these things that you need if you want to pay your car insurance off monthly. Again, credit check, everything that's affected. And can I just say that trying to even things out throughout the year, don't have everything all in one go. So my business insurance and credit and car insurance and everything all due in 1 month. But when I go on the internet now and I do my searches based on whatever one I want to do, like if I want to go on Money Supermarket, compare the market or whatever, and do all three of those, I'm already putting lots of hard searches on my credit report, which is kind of detrimental. You don't want to, if you can space them out, space them out.
Do you know how long that detriment lasts?
No.
I know we've looked at like payday loans being like equivalent to a year for a mortgage, but generally building up your credit score, do you think it's like on a basis of like 3 months you could improve it?
Yeah, definitely. I think you can, based on how many schools. Remember, I had my identity stolen and I had like 36 like things on my credit report, that hard searches on my credit report. That took basically a year to get my credit back. The fact that I do all my own searches now online and I'm looking for like car insurance, business insurance, whatever insurance is all in 1 month, like my credit score will go down for a month and then pick back up, but not dramatically down. It's like you actually saw that I went ahead and purchased those things that I was searching for. It wasn't just like hard score based on me not amounting to anything. And it's not like my level of credit then went dramatically through the roof.
So yeah, as well. I was going to ask you, does your personal credit score affect self-employment? Like, is that a thing?
I'm not sure actually. I don't know why I would need to have my personal. I don't know where they would relate or associate to, unless I wanted to get a business loan or something like that. Then obviously, I think that it's based on my personal lending and the business as a whole.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I know when it comes to businesses, like you're kind of separate to the business. So even though it's you, like if your business gets in debt, that's not going to be a negative for your credit score unless you've done things that aren't properly, and then like in the certain acts that they've got, unless you haven't done things properly, then it will kind of impact you. But for the most part, if you've got a business and the business is down, it doesn't affect your personal credit score.
Okay.
I think it also depends on whether you as an individual guarantee whatever lending you're doing on behalf of the business. Because for a lot of smaller companies or ones that are just starting to take out credit, they ask for the individual, like the director or what have you, to take out a guarantee against what they're lending. So they would probably look into your credit history then. And if the business fails to pay and then you as an individual fail to pay as a guarantor, then I guess it could affect you. But otherwise, you're right, yeah, it's separate. Coming back to what you said, Shah, about having multiple searches on your credit score and stuff, one thing that you should bear in mind as well is when you take out things like phone down payments or insurance down payments, sometimes those companies kind of systematically continue to check your credit score. So it's not a case of just saying, oh, actually, at the outset, I've got a good credit score, so I can worry about it. I don't need to worry about it now because I've got what I wanted to get. You should always try and maintain it, because in 6 months' time, the insurance company might just check that you've still got a good credit score. And then when you come to renew as well, at the end of the term, if you want to get car insurance for another year, they'll check it again. So it's just to make sure that you maintain your score.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point.
It's kind of like a little bit of an invasion of privacy, no? It's like, take my score now, and that's it. Think it is what it is, and that's it.
Thank you for who I am right now.
Let me work on myself in the meantime, like, just take me who I am. What about missed payments? Did we talk about missed payments?
Oh gosh, yeah.
No, we actually haven't. We didn't talk about missed payments, but obviously that's a negative. You have to stay on top of your bills. You have to stay on top of your bills.
It's much better if you can't pay for a month. It's much better for you to get in contact with the company and try and make a commercial arrangement to say, I can't pay this month. Can I defer it for a month? Or can I reduce the amount I pay this month? Because then if you do agree an arrangement with the company, and more times out of 10, they will say yes, if you come with a decent proposal. So if you do an arrangement with a company, it doesn't affect your credit score. But if you miss a payment and you haven't corresponded with the company, then it will. So it's always better, rather than burying your head in the sand, to always talk up and say, well, actually, I'm down on money because of X, Y, Z. You don't have to give them your life story, but can I defer the payment, or can I pay less this month?
Yeah, that is a good shout, because it's not just like a robot. It is actually, you can speak to people and justify what's going on. In the book, it says missing your last payment on an account will cost you about 130 points, according to Experian.
Bitch.
That's 130 points, and bear in mind the beginning of the point system is 300. So if you only had 300, then you get knocked down by 130. Like, you're bad. You're badder than bad.
And not good bad. You're
Not
bad.
the good, yeah, not the good, badder than bad.
Oh gosh, we could go on about this forever. Like literally forever. Like the good and the bad of the credit score and whatever. But how do you think you should check your credit score?
Well, like Aisha was saying, obviously the companies are going to do it every so often, so why not stay on top of it yourself? I think one, in your personal life, if you've been doing things that were kind of shaky or might not have given you like the best outcome for a month, if you've had any missed payments or if you've done anything or forgotten about certain things. So one, I would kind of check, me personally, I'd probably check minimum twice a year.
Really? I check mine all the time.
I check mine monthly, just to keep on top of it. But what I would say, just quickly before I forget, one thing is you don't have to pay to get a copy of your credit report. So if you sign up to any of these companies, like Experian have got a paid service and a free service, you don't actually have to pay to view your credit score or history. You do have to pay if you want a more in-depth analysis. But actually, you can shop around and look for things like ClearScore. They can give you quite a lot of information without actually paying anything for your credit score. So don't get tricked into actually thinking you have to pay a monthly subscription or something like that, because you don't.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. Also, just to tell dovetail off the back of what Aisha just said. When you've, what did you just say? I got too caught up in the tail dubbing.
Oh, you don't have to pay for your credit score to check it.
You don't have to pay for your credit score to check it.
Experian will give you a detailed account if you want.
Oh, yeah. So you said about Experian giving you a detailed account. So just be aware that when you're actually signing up to any of these applications or with these services to check your credit score, there is information that you need to bring to the table to be able to access your credit file. So it's not literally just going on and putting your name and email and then it coming up. It will ask you a certain amount of questions about historical things that you've either paid for or details about your address. And
for example, do you have a mobile phone contract with either Vodafone, O2 or T-Mobile? It will know that information and you need to answer it correctly in order for them to build a profile and know that you are who you say you are.
Exactly that, and that's really important to note, because I remember I had signed up for one of them. It wasn't Experian, because I already had Experian. It was a different one, and whatever questions they were asking me, I kept getting them wrong. So I was like, oh crap, let me just leave it, because I can't actually remember the questions that they were asking me, because it wasn't up to date stuff. It was like stuff from the past, and I was just like, I don't remember. And I think it even had like a how much did you spend question or something like that, and I was like, right.
I just don't know.
I don't know. So make sure you've got all your, go through the application process before actually applying, because there will be details that you need to know and get correct.
One question that I am dying to know that I never know the answer to also, if anyone can help me, you girls included, is once you have a credit card and you've paid off your credit card by making your payments monthly, blah, 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 and now that you've got your balance down to zero, should you close your account?
Okay, so me personally, from my own experience, I would not close your account, because it shows your amount of available credit. So say you've just paid...
That's mad.
No, but it also shows that you're not using everything that's available to you. So it, again, with the trustworthiness, oh look, she's got $3,000 laying there, but she hasn't touched it.
Okay.
Do you see what I mean? You don't have to keep it open forever, but I wouldn't close it straight after paying it off.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess it can go both ways, I think. I think it can go both ways, because sometimes, I remember somebody saying to me, I can't remember whether it was a bank or something, sometimes if you've got a high amount on a credit card, so not necessarily £3,000, but quite a lot, and it's clear, some lenders, I'm not saying all, but some lenders might be nervous that you might purchase something that cost you £11,000 one day. So actually that completely changes your credit profile. So actually you're paying off now that £11,000 and not necessarily able to pay off what they're just about, or what they lend you. So sometimes they do look at it, but I think it's all relative to the amount that's there sitting waiting, and whether, if they still lend you what you're asking for, you would be able to pay both if you suddenly took a £2,000, bought something for £2,000, for example, a holiday or something.
Yeah. And that's another great example of how it's not just one factor making the decisions, because some people will tell you that and some people will tell you the other. So it's really about making smart decisions for yourself, as well as communicating with people like banks and advisors. Stay alert. We're communicating with banks and advisors about things that are impacting you at that point in time in your life and in your financial history life.
Exactly that.
Agreed. Wow. Like way over time. Who had the timer today?
I mean, but you know what? I think it was all good discussions though. It was all good discussions. So sorry it's a bit longer of a show, but we wanted to give you a complete picture, right? And not just leave you hanging on certain details that we left out.
It needed to be covered, because it is a bit of what about this, what about that, what about this, what about that.
Yeah.
So let's wrap up with just like the major points.
Credit cards are a bad thing. They're a good thing.
Credit cards are a good thing, yeah.
When used correctly.
When used correctly. Aisha was like, there you go, girl, there you go. Credit cards are a good thing. Get access to your credit report if you don't want to pay
regularly. I think more than twice a year, by the way. I reckon once a month. Twice a month.
That's just because I know where I'm at with everything. Not saying that you guys don't, but I didn't have a lot of change in what was going on.
But I like to play the credit card game as well. So if I've got a credit card and I'm offered a 0%, I'm going to change it to 0%.
You're good at jumping ship. You are good. Like, you are good at transferring balances and stuff like that. So that is great. But
we could go on for ages, because I don't want to talk about the fraction that you need to pay when you transfer your fee, and you need to account for that. But I won't.
Oh, no, but okay, before we go, you should say that. Just say that point.
I just said that. No, so if you've got a balance of, let's use it, the £3,000, and you're paying it at a 20% interest rate every month, and then you're offered a 0% credit card for 12 months, you can transfer your balance of the £3,000 onto the 0% credit card, so then you're not paying any interest. But bear in mind, sometimes that there's a transaction fee of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% of the total cost of your £3,000 that you will now need to pay 0% on. So you need to pay that kind of like up front to the bank to say, look, I've got that much right now, but I can afford to pay the 0% payments. And then keep checking your 0% credit cards if you're offered anything on, if you're offered something for purchases, if you're offered like a credit card for purchases, take that one. If you're offered it for the balance transfer, take that one, and play the credit card game, but always set reminders and alarms so when your 0% credit card is up.
Can I just add something quickly, just before I forget? It's really important. So I've got a live example. We might as well go on. So that is such good advice, Charlene, about switching and playing the credit card game. One thing to also bear in mind is if you've got a good amount of credit available with a credit card company, for example, and if you take out another credit card, you're not sure you're going to get the same amount. What you can always do is ring your credit card company and say, look, I've been with you for X number of years. I've cleared my balance recently, but I'm looking to purchase some things. Is there any offers that you can offer me on my existing credit card in order to give me a 0% on purchases, for example? I did that recently.
Do you know what? Bullying companies is like my favourite thing to do.
Oh, you've got to.
is, because I want you to have my service. You've been treating me well. I've treated you well. Let's come to some agreement. Let's do some more stuff together. Do you know what I mean?
let's carry on being together. But that's a good point, because like I said, people treat it sometimes like it's a robot or like it's an automatic response. You can communicate with these people. You can justify any late payments or any future payments that might be late and reasons why. You can say and barter, oh, I've been with you this amount of time and I want this.
In a relationship, I think.
But it's not just oh, this is going to happen every month and this is going to have the impact. Communicate. Communication is like the fact of life. Just everything.
I want to change the name of our podcast.
I was just about to say that.
What are we calling it?
Communicate.
Communicast.
Communicast.
Check us out with our new podcast. Check out our other podcast at communicast.com.
I love that.
No, okay, so we didn't round that properly. So credit cards are good.
New shit.
I know. Credit cards are good. Payday loans are bad. Make sure you're building your credit through small things that you can keep on top of. Make sure you're communicating with the banks and lenders. What else?
I think they're the main things, really.
Yeah, they're the main things. But when we actually go to posting this, like, we'll write some stuff in the actual caption to make sure that there's more detail and you can access that at any time on our Instagram. Yeah,
Thanks
I think
for
that's
listening,
it.
guys.
Thanks, guys. Awadi podcast.
Awadi podcast.
And level up.
Oh! Level up, level